That night changed the way I looked at love forever. My name is Arthur, and I'm 35 years old. I used to believe that when someone says yes to a date, it means they see something in you, something hopeful, something real. But the night she said yes to me, I learned that sometimes people show up for reasons you never imagined. And sometimes those reasons hurt. The hook. When she smiled and said, "I'd love to go out with you," my heart felt 10 years younger. But 3 hours into the date, sitting across from her under the soft glow of restaurant lights, I realized I was never the reason she came, the yes that felt like a dream. Her name was Clara. I met her at a bookstore cafe, the kind of place where the scent of coffee blends with old paper and quiet ambition. I was reaching for a novel at the same time she was. Our hands touched. It sounds cliché, I know, but life doesn't care about clichés. She laughed. "You take it," she said. We ended up talking for 40 minutes right there between the shelves, about books, about travel, about how both of us pretended to understand poetry more than we actually did. Before she left, I gathered courage. "Would you like to go out sometime?" She didn't hesitate. Yes. That single word echoed in my head for days. At 35, I wasn't some naive teenager. I'd had relationships before, I'd been hurt before, but something about Clara felt different, calm, genuine, warm. Or maybe that's just what I wanted to see, the night of the date. I arrived 15 minutes early. I always do when I'm nervous. The restaurant was elegant, but not overly fancy, candlelight, soft music, couples leaning in close across tables. The kind of place where you imagine first kisses or serious conversations. When Clara walked in, she looked stunning. She smiled when she saw me. And for a moment, everything felt perfect. We ordered dinner. We talked about childhood memories, embarrassing high school moments, career goals. She seemed present, interested. But then I noticed something. Every few minutes, she glanced at her phone. At first, I ignored it. Maybe she was expecting an important message. Maybe she had family responsibilities. But the glances became frequent. Then came the first crack in the illusion. "Do you know Mark?" she asked casually. I frowned. "Mark who?" "Mark Stevenson, he works in finance." The names hit me like a quiet alarm bell. Mark was my colleague, the real reason. My stomach tightened. "Yeah," I said slowly, "we work together." Her eyes lit up. "Oh, that's interesting." "Interesting." She leaned forward slightly. "What's he like?" The way she asked, it wasn't casual curiosity, it was focused, intent. "He's fine," I replied cautiously. "Why?" She hesitated for half a second, just enough for me to notice. "Well," she laughed nervously, "we sort of dated briefly." The word dated felt like cold water down my back. "And it didn't end well," she said. "I just thought maybe you could tell me if he's seeing someone." There it was. The reason. Not chemistry, not curiosity, not connection. Information. I was a doorway. I was a bridge. I was access. And suddenly, every smile she'd given me felt like a transaction, holding my dignity. I wanted to stand up and leave. I wanted to ask her why she couldn't just text him herself. I wanted to ask if I was just some convenient stepping stone. But I didn't. Instead, I took a breath. "Why didn't you ask him directly?" I asked calmly. She looked down at her drink. "Because he blocked me." That answer carried a hint of vulnerability. For a moment, I saw something else in her eyes, not manipulation, but desperation. "I just wanted closure," she whispered. Closure. It's amazing how powerful that word is, how it can justify almost anything. "You said yes to me for closure," I asked gently. She didn't respond. Silence confirmed, emotional turn. Something unexpected happened inside me. Instead of anger, I felt sadness. Not because she wanted someone else, but because she didn't see me. She didn't see Arthur, the 35-year-old man sitting across from her, the man who had rehearsed jokes in the mirror before coming, the man who had hoped this might turn into something meaningful. To her, I was proximity. I paid the bill. We stepped outside into the cool night air. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "For what?" I asked. "For using you." At least she admitted it. I nodded. "I hope you find your closure," I said, "but not like this." She looked like she wanted to say more, but she didn't. And just like that, it ended, the aftermath. The next day at work, I saw Mark. He was laughing near the coffee machine, completely unaware of the strange triangle he'd unknowingly created. I considered telling him, but I didn't. Some stories don't need to be passed around. Instead, I went back to my desk and focused on my work. But that night, lying in bed, I questioned everything. Was I too boring, too safe, too available? At 35, society makes you feel like time is running out, like every yes must lead somewhere serious. But that experience forced me to reflect. I realized something painful yet freeing. Her intention had nothing to do with my worth, the unexpected message. 3 days later, she texted, "I've been thinking about that night." I stared at the message for a full minute before replying. "And you were right, I shouldn't have come for the wrong reasons." I didn't respond immediately. Then another message appeared. "But I did enjoy talking to you." That line felt dangerous. I typed, deleted, typed again. "What do you want, Clara?" Her reply came quickly. To try again, this time honestly, decision. Here's the part most people expect to turn romantic. But real life isn't always cinematic. I asked myself a simple question. If she had never needed information about Mark, would she have said yes? The honest answer, probably not. And I couldn't build something meaningful on a foundation that started a strategy. So I replied, I deserve to be someone's first choice, not their detour. She didn't argue. She just wrote, I understand. And that was that, growth. Weeks passed. Something inside me changed. I stopped romanticizing every opportunity. I stopped attaching my value to someone else's interest. And one afternoon, back at that same bookstore cafe, I saw her again. She smiled politely. So did I. There was no bitterness. Only clarity. This time I didn't approach her. And I didn't need to. Because sometimes growth isn't about getting the girl. Sometimes it's about keeping your self-respect. The moral: love built on hidden motives will always collapse. If someone comes into your life, they should come for you, not for access, revenge, curiosity, or convenience. And most importantly, never shrink your worth just to be someone's temporary solution. I'm Arthur, I'm 35 years old, and that night taught me something I'll carry forever. It's better to walk away with dignity than to stay where you were never truly wanted.